and welcome to the second part of our journey of setting up Terraform and ServiceNow integration. In this video, we'll finish some of the minor setup and we'll focus on provisioning infrastructure through our ServiceNow catalog. So what things are left? Make sure you added the right variables. The way you can do that, through the search bar, type variable and select variable sets, then find workspace variables, and here you'll see some of the variables already given to you through the template that we uploaded from the part number 1. What you want to do here is to update some of them. At the end of the day, your variable set should look exactly the same. You will need to provide your AWS credentials, like access key, session token, and secret access key. Then don't forget to put your CIDR block, and it should be equal to 10.0.0.0.16. If you cannot edit that, click on the Here button, and it will give you access to add notifications. Here we go. The cool part here, you can make that variable masked or select multiple choice and so on. Select a box, checkbox, and so on. So we'll leave it as a single line text. Coming back, one minor thing we need to do is check whether there's our version control system repo set up correctly. As a note here, you can see that you can highlight the Terraform application as your favorite. It will be useful for you. Why? Because you can find that application easily just by clicking on the star. The way you can do that, search Terraform, and when you see the application, you can just mark it start, and that will automatically add that application to your favorite selections. So let's go to our VCS connections. As we're working with this specific repo, the HashiMax as a service, and let's check if it's set up as we expect. As a name, you put any identification so you can find that application later on. Then we need to use identifier. You just copy paste the URL, and then you also need to provide the auth token so our Terraform knows like where to pull the configuration files from. Lastly, important part, don't forget to put the Terraform version. If you don't put this Terraform version, the default update set up as a 14 version, such as if you don't add that addition, most likely your provisioning will be broken. So you want to make sure that at the end of the day, your VCS repo set up as you can see in display. Lastly, we also want, after requesting the infrastructure, everything goes smoothly, right? And we don't want to see error. Because our repo, HashiCorp as a service, using module, we want to add this module to our Terraform application. The way you can do that, you search for Terraform registry, you search for VPC, here, and you want to select somewhere, preferably, let us check which one we have. 2.24. So you select that and add this module to your application platform. Also, don't forget to copy this snippet and add that piece of code to this part at your repo. Obviously, like, you will need to fork this application first and make the modification. If you want to do that, when a user will request infrastructure piece, or like better say this application, Terraform will give us an error because on Terraform side we're going to have some missing parts. So at that point, make sure you have all the needed variables, you have right versions set up for the application, and you add the module to the right location. Lastly, you change the your repo where you updated the source part, and the source part will be different. Why? Because you have a different organization name. Okay, good to go. So now let's play the role of the user, and I am the user. I don't know the Terraform as well. I just been given assignment to provision new application, and on my hand I do have ServiceNow access, and I do have the Terraform catalog available. What I do, I go to Terraform catalog and I see the already pre-built flows. Those flows determine what kind of action you want to perform on the Terraform side, and you can extend them and select what do you want, what do you need to do. And in our case, we're going to provision resources with variables. Why? Because we want to trigger the flow of that application build where we want all the variables that being pre-configured, pre-selected, copied and displayed in our Terraform application. We also want to start the Terraform plan and apply on the Terraform side. Me as a user, I don't have access to the Terraform. I only have access to the ServiceNow. And what I do, here in the catalog, I select the application that I need to provision. Here I can put the description, and I'm ordering the infrastructure. Let's see, let's give it a little bit of time. So in ours, and we see that request has been submitted. You can click on request number to see the flow, what's happening there. And if everything goes as expected, we're going to see our website provisioned. So now I'm changing my hats. I am now a Terraform admin who goes and verifies what's happening on the Terraform side, and maybe I had some notification that, hey, like, you need to check out what's happening there. So with that, I'm as a Terraform admin. I'm going to the Terraform application and I see what's happening here. Okay, this is a good sign. There is some provisioning happening. As you can see that ServiceNow is smart enough to create a workspace while the run is going through. Let's see variables being added as expected. If those not outdated, because here at HashiCorp we have them frequently being changed, we're going to see our application. Let's give it a little bit more time. Here the general part, you can also see that our Terraform version being set up as what we mentioned at the ServiceNow side. Okay, let's give it a little bit time. Demo gods. Let's see. Okay, let's give it a little bit more time. And the last addition, what you can add to this flow is make sure you add some policy sets or something that you can show while you're showing the demo to the customer, when you can connect those policies through connecting to the version control. And let's say at one of the basic and like always wanted to see the feature of the policies is a cost estimation. So you can go to the cost estimation policy and set it such as you want to be applied to the all workspaces. What does it mean? Such as every time something being pushed through Terraform, this policy, this compliance sandbox going to be applied for this piece of infrastructure. Okay. Let's take a pause. We'll come back. Let me change my AWS credentials. I think there's something happening on the site, and I'll come back and show you what you will see at the end. Found yourself in the situation where your request keep running and it doesn't move from Terraform plan stage. What do you want to do? There is a bug. I couldn't figure out the reason for it, but I found a way around to make things work. And there is a couple things you want to change. So when you fork the repo, make sure you at the variable.tf you change the prefix, and this prefix will be your own identifier, and this prefix is being used when we're creating VPC and other resources. So make sure like you have your own personal identifier. And then on my side, I also updated my AWS credentials, so to make sure that nothing intervened on our way. So once you change this to, you go to your catalog and you request it. So after the request, you're going to see a new workspace appear. We'll see our plan is being created with all these resources. The cost estimation policy is being applied because we set it up. So we want to apply policies to all parts of infrastructure. And then we also see that our apply has been finished. So let's see what we have at the end. That's what we expected to see. So we see our application being running, and this is the end of the part 2. Hopefully it was useful for you. Lastly, the bonus, if you want, you can also show the customer how you can delete that just provision workspace. The way you can do that, you go to delete workspace flow, you select the number of your request, and if you just provision one, it should be the latest one. So you select that and click order now. After the order, if you come back to the Terraform application, you will see that process should be initiated. Okay, let's see. Okay, we see that our destroy being triggered and our infrastructure being slowly being destroyed. Okay, this is the end, and good luck with your presentation and rocket that customer call.